Thanks for listening to Uncle Sam's Soccer Podcast, keeping you up to date with the latest in American soccer. And don't forget to subscribe.
Hello everyone, welcome to Uncle Sam's Soccer Podcast. My name's Steven Jodarand, and on today's episode, it is an interview special. Jake, Armand, and I sit down with Las Vegas Lights FC owner Brett Lashbrook. We discuss the origin of the Lights, the MLS expansion plan, and the potential transition in ownership. Now listeners, wherever you get your podcast from, make sure you hit that subscribe button, leave us a 5-star review, and then head over to Twitter and follow us at Uncle Sam Soccer Pod. We appreciate all the support, whether it's listening to the show or sending in your thoughts. Please continue to do so. Follow us individually at Steven Jodarand, at Jake Watroba, at Armand Kafai. We'll be back next week with World Cup and Gold Cup chat. Now, let's get to the interview. Joining us right now is the owner and CEO of the Las Vegas Lights FC, Brett Lashbrook. Brett, thank you for joining us, and how's it going?
It is fantastic. We're getting ready for our next home match in the Soccer City, USA 2.0 right here in Las Vegas.
Brett, we've all watched the Las Vegas Lights, and we all know what they bring to U.S. soccer, and we know that every club has a story. Can you just briefly tell us what the story of the Las Vegas Lights are? I mean, in their 2-3 year of existence that they've had.
I'd first like to know what you think we bring. I'd like to know it in your own words, what you think we bring.
Okay, I mean, to be honest with you, I mean, I've watched a few games on ESPN Plus. Most recently watched the Open Cup match that you guys had, and it seems to be a very fun atmosphere. You guys, I think know the role you guys have. You know, with the llamas, I love seeing them. The alpacas. I saw that you had the guarantee a win night that you had at the beginning of the season. It just seems like a fun atmosphere. I mean, I think it's very unique to U.S. soccer because we have some teams that that maybe aren't that don't do these kind of things. I think with you guys, the $10,000.
Is that the
yeah?
word
Yeah,
some teams are boring.
Yeah, some teams are boring. I mean, some teams in MLS are boring.
I'm sorry. The correct word in soccer vernacular is traditional.
Exactly. You guys are unorthodox. Unorthodox.
Yeah, soccer authentic.
100%.
Yeah. So we embrace everything that you've just said times 1,000. The entertainment capital of the world. It's the world's most popular game. We have an amazing platform of having our games live every other Saturday night from downtown Las Vegas. I like to say, no matter where you are in the world, whether you've been to downtown Las Vegas or not, the words downtown Vegas elicits fun, laughter, kitschy, in your face, coloring outside the lines, to say the least. And I have always been a big believer that teams need to embrace the identity of their city and need to do so without reservation. And I always use an example of the Green Bay Packers will always be the Green Bay Packers, right? They will take that upper Midwest sensibility, hardworking, blue collar, even when they draft a kid out of California and they run the West Coast offense. They are still the Green Bay Packers, right? And the Los Angeles Lakers are always the Lake Show, and they're always prime time, right? And they are always, even when they don't make the playoffs, they are still the Lakers, right? And they elicit something in your mind, just like the old Celtics teams, right? You can go on and on. The Yankees, it elicits something about that community, and they represent that community. And I think all sports teams should be the exact same way. So, all those teams I just mentioned have, decades and decades and decades, if not more, of history to build upon, history and traditions and record books and all that aura. We don't. We got 2 years. And we have the fastest growing sport here in the city and in the country. And we have this just amazing platform of Las Vegas. And so 2 years ago, blank sheet of paper, no name, no team, no players, no anything, no traditions. Let's go have some fun. There is an aspect of embrace where you're from unabashedly. And I worked in Orlando for a long time, and Orlando and Las Vegas have a lot of similarities and the fact that it's I'll call it a middle market, right? It's not in the top 10. It doesn't have a Major League Baseball team. It's heavy tourism, and it elicits something, right? When you say Orlando, you immediately think of Mickey Mouse and everything else. And people in Orlando, quite frankly, have this love-hate affair with Mickey Mouse. No one in Las Vegas is embarrassed to be from Las Vegas. Does that make sense? Like, we wear it with pride. Like, yeah, we're Las Vegas. That's right. You listen in Reno, you listen in Tulsa, you listen in Albuquerque, we're Las Vegas. And so I wanted the team to embrace that swagger and that cachet, and don't run from it. UNLV has run from it. UNLV has taken on this mountain man image, and we're the old West. Forget it. That's not Vegas, people. Vegas is what I'm looking at right now. It's with the strip and the debauchery and the fun and just the right amount of wrong. That's what we are, right? We are proud to be from Vegas, and then creating something that is hyper local, right? It is embracing all those kitschy Vegas things, but then making this product for the locals. There's 2.3 million people here, and let me have a shock. Everyone thinks 99% of the world thinks of Vegas as that 5-mile strip of all the big hotels. Of the 2.3 million of us, none of us live in that 5 miles. That's not the real Vegas, right? And so doing something that's affordable, that's downtown, that's centrally located, that embraces the diversity of the community, but also still allows us to take advantage and leverage that platform of being from Las Vegas.
Brett, we know U.S. soccer in its entirety is still relatively young, but you talked about the Packers being the Packers and the Lakers or the Celtics having that authentic identity. But let me pick your brain. You had the opportunity to work with Orlando City, but is there a club that you sense in American soccer that has some sort of identity or some sort of authentic past that people can really put their thumb on?
Not a lot of the new teams, no. No, and that's where I felt that there was a real opportunity. The goal wasn't to go create St. Pauli of America. That was not the goal, but it's kind of evolved into that without putting the politics and some of the we have different visions, right, of what it should be, but really embracing something that no matter where you go, when you hear the lights, you immediately know that's fun, right? And I really answered another question. I don't think a lot of team owners, I think they really, really get it wrong in this sense. I think a lot of them think they own a sports team and that they're in the sports industry. Candidly, I believe we own an entertainment company and we're in the entertainment industry. That doesn't mean we don't take the soccer serious. That doesn't mean we don't take the 90 minutes serious. That doesn't mean between the white lines we're not trying to win trophies and win and do all that. Lord knows the 25 people in that locker room, we're trying as hard as they can tonight, and we're giving them the resources because that is the best way to entertain people, is to score goals and win. But at the end of the day, I can't guarantee wins. I can't guarantee goals. But I can guarantee that working class family in Las Vegas, when they're going to plop down their $20 tonight, right, when they're deciding whether to go to the movies or wherever, right, and they plop down that $20, I'm going to entertain them. And we're going to entertain them from the moment they walk in to the moment they leave. I can't guarantee goals and wins. I hope we do, and we'll put resources behind to do that. But I'm going to give them hype man. I'm going to give them music. I'm going to give them a DJ. I'm going to give them dance parties. I'm going to give them fun promos. I'm going to give them more confetti than when you see the Super Bowl champion celebrate. I'm going to do fun halftime stuff. I'm going to do beer specials. I'm going to do all of that. Because at the end of the day, I can control that. And I think too many teams lose sight of the things that they can control, and they just put it all in the hands of the players, if that makes sense. But let me tell you something. At best, 50% of the teams are going to lose this weekend. Right? That's not a good enough business model to me. I have to also find ways to continually entertain and do so unabashedly.
Brett, I want to ask you, how have you seen the game grow in the Las Vegas area during the club's short existence?
Just look at media attention. Just look at fans. Look at, youth soccer was always robust here, as it's been all over the country. But I like to say, especially in light of this week's announcement with, the potential sale of the club and bringing in MLS and redevelopment in downtown and having a new soccer stadium be the anchor tenant, et cetera, et cetera. 2+ years ago when I announced I was starting the team, there was an article in the Review-Journal, an editorial of, we don't need this. Soccer's not going to work here. We got too many sports, blah, 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 blah. It's not going to work here, right? And now 2 years later, not only is it working here, not only have we created this identity, not only Will we have 8,000+ locals coming out to the game tonight? But we have people at the highest level of business and elected officials trying to figure out how can they align with soccer to reach even bigger goals. To me, that's the growth of the game here. But we're just a domino that's helped push it along. This is happening all over the U.S. and Canada.
Now, Britton, the first year of the Lights, what was the biggest challenge you had to overcome?
The biggest challenge is, listen, it's hard to start a team. It's hard, to put my business hat on. You don't have any infrastructure. You don't have anything in place. Everything is being done for the first time. And then you've got to go, put coaches and players and everything else in place. So it's not rocket science. We're not curing cancer here. But the toughest thing, the toughest thing of year one was also the biggest opportunity of year one. Nothing had been done. We got to write our own history. We got to write our own traditions. We got to write our own story off the field, if that makes sense. And I think in year two, you see our on the field story getting that much better, just having our sea legs under us.
Now, Brett, last year, the Las Vegas Lights hired Eric Wynalda to be manager. Now, can you talk about what it's like working with a legend and what he's done for the club?
Oh, don't call him a legend. His head will get bigger. Don't do that. I love you, Eric, if you're listening. I love you. Eric's been great. Eric exceeded all our expectations. Eric not only is bilingual, but he likes to remind me that he's trilingual because, there's a lot of German speaking here in Vegas. Note my sarcasm. Eric brings an X factor here in Las Vegas. And I think he has and does embody the spirit of our organization. And I say that with a smile on my face, right? There's a moxie, there's a cockiness, there's a conviction of this is who we are. We're in the building, and now we're here. And he embraces that fully. But that's not what I like most about Eric. What I like most about Eric is that he's a former resident of Vegas. He lived here for 11 years. He knows the real Vegas story. He knows the real Vegas isn't that 5 mile strip. He knows how to get around and where the secret restaurants are, if that makes sense. And he loves Vegas. And as Eric and I got to know each other, and I realized how much he has wanted to get into coaching and the success that he's had, and that he was willing to, again, right? This is we take it incredibly serious, but this isn't the resources of an MLS team. This isn't the resources of Fox Sports. And for him to take those sacrifices in stride and not even to think twice about it showed me that he really wanted to be here. He wanted to do it for personal reasons. I think he's taken enormous pride in the club, and everything I've asked Eric to do, he's done, and he's just been a wonderful, wonderful ambassador for the club.
Brett, I want to talk about the product on the field this year. A disappointing result in the U.S. Open Cup, but how have you felt the team has done so far this season?
Listen, it's unscripted entertainment, right? I mean, it was a heartbreaking loss, but it's also the beauty of the tournament. When Eric put the team together, he came in my office and he explained that the team he wanted to put together, there were going to be a lot of guys that were cup tied, sorry. And so we knew that going in, but that's no excuse, right? It is, Eric is the CEO of soccer, and I have full confidence that he will figure it out. We've made some moves this week, and we are absolutely in the playoff hunt, and it's still early, my friends. It's still early.
Now, Brett, I want to talk about, obviously, the news that you mentioned about the potential of that MLS bid. It was announced on May 29th that the team was close to finance an agreement, with the Las Vegas City Council for a redevelopment of Cashman Field. We saw that they agreed to go into negotiations. And what is the latest on that? And how, if you can talk about it, would the transfer in ownership work that was talked about within that, and in your letter as well that you sent out to social media?
Yeah, so it's a wonderful, wonderful opportunity. So those that have been to downtown Las Vegas know about the Cashman District. Our stadium sits on about 45, 50 acres of land. It's right on Las Vegas Boulevard. The city owns a variety of land along Las Vegas Boulevard, and the city's been looking for years how to do a massive redevelopment of the site. It was a finalist to be. The site was a finalist to be for the new Raider Stadium. It was a finalist or proposed for the new Amazon 2 headquarters. The city has explored a variety of different solutions over several decades, really, of trying to figure out, hey, we've got this huge parcel of land in downtown Las Vegas. We could do something really, really special. There has been an investment group that has come forward with the idea of doing a massive 60-plus acre redevelopment in downtown Las Vegas, which would be awesome. The mayor has made it clear that she wants professional soccer, ideally Major League Soccer, to be a part of that. And so when we learned of the plans and were brought into the discussions, the lights as it stands today is owned 100% by my team, by my family. And we love Las Vegas, and we saw what this was going to do. This was so much bigger than soccer. So we have agreed to sell the team to this investment group, contingent upon them finalizing a deal with the mayor and city council to do the following: redevelop 60-plus acres of downtown, build a 25,000 seat soccer stadium, and make attempts to secure a Major League Soccer team. And I say attempts because no one knows what Major League Soccer will do. So it wouldn't be fair to hold them to something that they don't control. But as I said to the mayor and on the city council meeting this week, it is like seeing your child grow up way faster than you ever thought. But you know this is the right thing to do, and this secures the future of the lights for the next many decades, and puts them in a better position to succeed. And candidly, I take off my Lights FC hat and I just put on my Las Vegas taxpayer hat, my Las Vegas resident hat. It's just great for the city. And I really think, and I've said this to multiple of them, but it's not necessarily reported. I really think that the media is missing the big picture of this proposal. I think the Major League Soccer and the light selling have been getting the lion's share of the attention. The reality is that this is a massive, massive thing that's going to create jobs and all kinds of things in downtown, and that really should be the focus of it.
Brett, what would your new role be with the club once you sell it, or will you have a role?
Number one cheerleader, season ticket holder, sitting in the front row. I told the guys, when someone new comes in, they need to have the ability to do their own things. It has been nothing but a cordial, I was trying to think of the word, discussion, and I've told them I'll stay as long as needed to make sure that there's a smooth transition. But eventually I'll go into super fan mode.
Brett, I want to ask you, you helped Orlando City make the transition from USL to MLS. How difficult was that transition, and do you foresee that being valuable if and when the Lights make a move to MLS?
Well, it's funny not funny, but it's just telling to how quickly the sport is growing in the U.S. and Canada. So that was 5 years ago-ish, that they went from USL to MLS. And just look at USL. I think there were 10 teams then. Now there's 37 teams. I think we were the 21st team in MLS, and now MLS has awarded teams up to 27. So there's the sport is just growing by leaps and bounds, and the number of cities and investors and media attention, everything has just grown along with it. So it's a different landscape, just even though it's been 5 short years for what was accomplished in Orlando versus here. The big difference here is that it's so much more than soccer. And here we have a private investor, as the mayor said, is agreeing to do the lion's share of the investment. Where in Orlando it was just a soccer project on just a soccer stadium on just soccer land that needed candidly a good chunk of public money to make it work. So the similarities I know on the paper it sounds like a lot, but the reality is these are really two very different, distinct projects.
But I have to ask you, I mean, we saw the news also coming out this week that Bill Foley, the Golden Knights owner, had kind of engaged us in the discussions the past several months to potentially land an MLS franchise that would play in that new stadium for the Raiders. Do you have any comments regarding that at all?
So the first thing that I'll say, I said this a handful of times this week. My God, look at little old soccer. Look at little old soccer go, right? I mean, I go back to 2 years ago, right, there's an article in the paper, the lights won't be successful, right? And today it goes back to what I said before. We have people at the highest levels of local business people and elected officials, quote unquote, fighting over who can be aligned and who can invest and where the, soccer 2.0 in Vegas should go. So if I take my lights hat off and I'm just a local Vegas soccer fan, what a great day for soccer, right? You talk about, sustaining the long-term growth and success of soccer in Las Vegas. I think you saw a pretty clear statement made on Wednesday that soccer's in a good place here locally. As it relates to Mr. Foley's interest, I'll say what the mayor said: competition is good, right? And we think that there's three things that Major League Soccer is looking for: a market that demonstrates success, a soccer stadium, and a high net worth individual. And we think we've checked all three of those boxes resoundingly. And listen, 180 days to cross all the T's and dot all the I's. There's going to be a lot of twists and turns during that. And I'll end by saying, I think that what the Golden Knights have done here is amazing, right? I mean, having started a professional sports team in Las Vegas at the same time as the all-time greatest successful professional sports expansion team is down the street. I mean, they have done just an amazing, amazing job. So I have nothing bad to say about them.
Brett, last question here. Where do you see the Las Vegas Lights in 5 to 10 years from now?
In Major League Soccer, an international brand representing all the things that so many soccer fans wish their teams represented. And what I mean by that is there's a lot of teams over in Europe and elsewhere where I just think their hands are shackled by traditions and history, and this is the way it's always been done. And I think Las Vegas, again, gives a platform to really look at not new problems, but new opportunities. And I think there has to be leaders in every industry. And I think, again, Las Vegas is just so uniquely placed for that. You put the support of the mayor and the community and the platformer downtown together, the growth of Major League Soccer. I think the Las Vegas Lights, and I really didn't mean this, and I understand some people may chuckle, I think the Las Vegas Lights are on its way to being an international club.
Well, Brett, thank you so much for the time today. Please tell our listeners, actually, I'll give you the floor. You can plug anything you want, whether it's a team, Twitter, whatever you want to plug away. The floor is yours.
I'll say this: support local soccer. That's what I believe. No matter where you're listening from, there is all levels of soccer out there. We all need your support. And at the end of the day, soccer in America at all levels is dependent upon the fans, for the fans, by the fans, of the fans. And so I think teams lose sight of that, but I think fans also lose sight that they have local soccer right there in front of them, and I just encourage them to support it. Those of you in Las Vegas, come on down to Cashman Field, sing, dance, cheer, march, drum, smoke, confetti, tifo, ole, 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 have a good time, and viva Lights.
There you go. Well, Brett, thank you so much.
Thanks, guys. Have fun.